court is in session. George, the time is yours.
For me, it all starts with one simple thing. I think it's time to no longer look for the third or fourth best quarterback option in a given offseason. I feel like that's been the problem since Andrew Luck retired. They've never gone out and said, here's the best thing we could do. Here's the best player available to us, and we're going to go get him. They didn't get Tom Brady. They didn't get Matthew Stafford. Even though it didn't work out for Denver last year, they didn't get Russell Wilson, and maybe that wouldn't have worked any better here. But I think more than the veteran carousel right now, the bigger issue here has been the lack of aggressiveness. The idea of you're shopping for a quarterback at a garage sale and you're going to find the best deal, instead of going out and getting the brand name difference maker at that position. And so for me, that's why I'm all in on. I was all in on trading up to number one. I thought that was the best plan. And I still think that would have been the best plan, but obviously can't do that anymore. You can't hit reset. This isn't Madden. You can't start over. So now I think the most aggressive thing that you can do to address the most important position on the field is to go and trade for Lamar Jackson.
Case closed. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, here is my case as to why the Colts should not pursue Lamar Jackson. George, let me ask you this. You saw it firsthand, unfortunately. The great Andrew Luck, the sweet Andrew Luck, the man we all thought was going to be the answer, was going to be the franchise legend, and even have more success than Peyton Manning when it comes to championships one day. We thought this was the guy, the answer, the man. And unfortunately, as you sit here in 2023, he is no longer there. Why is that, George? Injuries.
He is injured.
Injuries. It got to the point where a simple calf injury forced Andrew Luck out of retirement. And now the Colts
and Adam Schefter.
And Adam Schefter. Thank you, Shefty, for ruining that and making what was a surreal environment in a preseason game. That is for sure. But now, Colts fans, since that tragic day in August, that Andrew Luck unfortunately called it quits way earlier than he should have. We have been looking. We have been searching high and low, uncovering some rocks. Like George mentioned, he is correct. Going to the bargain store more than we would have liked for a quarterback and for the answer. Trying to do duct tape and glue and hoping that that fixes the bumper full time when we know that does not. And now the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, those in the Lamar Jackson camp, are trying to sell the idea that the answer, the real fix, the next decade-long solution for the Colts to get back to Super Bowl contention, find their franchise quarterback, and compete for championships yet again, is a quarterback that we have seen in the last 2 years suffer the same fate as Andrew Luck. Injuries. Missed a lot of time in Baltimore with those injuries. Missed 11 games in 2 years. Also, George, not just 11 games, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, 11 of the most important games of the Ravens season were in 2021. The Ravens missed the playoffs because Lamar got hurt. In 2022, they made the playoffs, but lost a playoff game easily because Lamar Jackson was not on the field that day. So I ask you this, is really the answer, the guy that we are going to say, that's the guy, boom, the Colts are off the quarterback carousel, really a guy who has the same injury issues recently as the once loved franchise quarterback that we thought was going to be the answer? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I say no. On top of that, the other point I have, if Lamar Jackson is healthy, if the Colts get lucky, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Colts fans nationwide that are listening, Lamar is healthy. He plays 17 games. The Colts are in the playoffs. They win the division. They get a home playoff game. You're going to be paying your quarterback, what, $240, $250 million? Most of that, if all of it fully guaranteed. You would think with that money, you are buying a playoff performer. Someone who plays their best football when it matters the most. Going toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence now as well. Well, the issue, ladies and gentlemen, is that Lamar Jackson has been in the playoffs 4 times. 4 games over 3 years. And Lamar Jackson and the Ravens' record in those playoffs are 1-3. And Lamar Jackson has not played well in any of those 4 playoff games. And he's had years, 3 years, to improve, get better, learn from it. And instead, he has stayed the same, if not regressed. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you want to trade 2 first-round picks when the Colts need help on the roster. You want to give Lamar Jackson a massive, historical, record-breaking, guaranteed money sort of contract for a guy that can't stay healthy, and also for a guy that has shown you in multiple instances cannot play well in the playoffs. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm not telling you Anthony Richardson is the answer. I'm not telling you Will Levis is the answer. I'm not telling you Hendon Hooker is the answer. But I know this. I'd rather keep my options open. I'd rather maintain financial and draft capital flexibility right now when it comes to pivoting if the franchise quarterback does become available this year, next year, down the road, than right now go all in on Lamar Jackson for a guy that can't stay healthy, can't play the biggest games of the season, and can't play well in the playoffs. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm Chris Ballard, if I'm Jim Irsay, I say, Lamar, thank you, but no thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Colts fans everywhere, I rest my case.